Welcome back to the LTA's National Tennis Centre in Roehampton for the continuation of finals day at the 18 and unders LTA Junior National Tennis Championships. We have one winner crowned. Isabel Lacey will be competing in women's qualifying at Wimbledon this year after coming from a set down to defeat last week's 16s champion Hannah Klugman under the roof here at the NTC just a matter of minutes ago. But who will come out on top in the boys singles final? We have two players who are very familiar with the setting of a junior national championships final. We have last week's 16 and unders runner-up in the top seed, Oliver Bonding, and he is taking on the defending champion, Luca Powell, who at the age of 18 is in his final year of the junior nationals. Abigail Johnson back with you for this match, and we are pleased to be back out in the open after rain hit and we were forced indoors to finish off the girls' singles final. It's going to be Darren Michaels chairing this match. Fairly unfamiliar matchup today for these two. Ollie Bonding, 15 years old, was one of the younger players in this 18 and unders draw this week, but has certainly backed his status as the top seed. He is yet to drop a set. So coin toss done, photos taken, and both players ready for the final showdown, the final match of the Junior Nationals here at the National Tennis Centre. It's been very busy here over the past fortnight with the 16 and unders championship here last week, but the stakes really go up here because the winner, as well as being added to a prestigious roll of honour at the tournament, they earn a wild card into men's singles qualifying at Wimbledon. I'm going to go quiet for a couple of minutes now so Richard Joyner can introduce you to our two players. A fair few in the crowd to take this one in. Luca Pal and Ollie Bonding. Not a lot of action to speak of as far as the singles court goes between these two, but they have actually already faced off this week because alongside the singles competition, we've also had the doubles draw up and running. The title won yesterday by Henry Jefferson and Charlie Robertson on the boys' side, and the girls' trophy going to Ellie Blackford and Given Roach. But these two were on opposite sides of the net in the quarterfinals, and it was Luca Pal and his partner Luca Blewett who got the win over the top-seeded pairing of Oliver Bonding and Benjamin Gusick-Wan, who incidentally were the two finalists in the 16 and under singles final here last week. So Ollie Bonding maybe has the advantage of having seen a lot of these courts in recent times. And that rhythm has definitely shown in his results so far this week. He is yet to drop a set on the singles court. Wins over Victor Friedrich, the runner-up actually in the singles of the 16s last year. So that was the first win for Bonding. Victory over another Luca, the doubles partner of Luca Pal, that's Blewett. 6-2, 6-3 in the semi-finals in the quarterfinals, I should say, for Bonding. And then in the semi-finals, his victim was Henry Searle, the number 3 seed. And there were some closer games in that one, but a 6-3, 6-2 result saw the top seed into the final, where he might just face his toughest test of the week in Luca Pal. That these two can't really have had more contrasting paths to this stage. Pal, who's unseeded by the slimmest of margins, he almost bagged the number 4 seed, but not quite. He's won all his matches so far in 3 sets, on a couple of occasions against Ben Hudson in the opening round and against number 4 seeded Charlie Robertson in the quarterfinals. He did come from a set down in order to get the win. So he is very much familiar with a fight, is the 18-year-old, and working his way through. Has been under the watchful eye of coach Morgan Phillips, who works with him at the LTA National Academy in Loughborough. And Ollie Bonding, a boy on people's radar, has a couple of former team members of Andy Murray on his team in Jez Green and Miles McLagan. It's showtime then. Who will join Isabel Lacey in the champions circle? It'll be either the top seed or the defending champion. And it's Ollie Bonding to get things underway. You are going to see a lot of that out here today. It's quite a good contrast of styles, this one, as we saw in the highly competitive final with eventual winner Gusick-Wan last week. Bonding will look to get himself on top of that court, utilise the serve and forehand. Power doesn't mind a counterpunch. Was on the court behind this one that Bonding got his win yesterday over Henry Searle. And Luca Pal was right here getting his biggest win of the week over the number 2 seed, Phoenix Weir. That's a big hit. Responding well to the depth of Powell's lefty forehand as well. Oh, some way to launch this contest. Ollie Bonding is belted up. Quite the battle he had last week with Ben Gusekwan, his fellow 15-year-old. The opening two sets ended in tie breaks, each of them about an hour in length, plus some. And then ultimately, Gusekwan with a little bit more left in the tank at the back end, getting it done. But it was, I've got to say, one of the best junior matches I think I've ever seen, that one. So Bonding was unfortunate to come out on the wrong end of it. He's looking for the equivalent of not getting the results you wanted in your GCSEs, but then nailing your A-levels and it doesn't really matter. This is the biggest prize for him. The 18s final, the opportunity to compete in qualifying at the championships. It's a great move up from Bonding. You could see the forward movement throughout there, keeping that ball out in front, leaning through the backhand, punching the volley. We've seen players making each other pay for not being aggressive enough in that forecourt. And that is going to be, you feel, the big challenge for Powell today when he's got himself on top of the baseline, on top of the court like that. Is he able to channel the necessary intensity to get things done? Currently well inside the world's top 100 on the ITF Junior rankings is Powell. But it's Bonding who is the higher ranked of the two. Career high ranking of number 40 to his name. Not going to take the driver's seat in this match just yet, though. Good hold from Powell. And if you want an example of how up he is for a fight, you only have to look back to the 18 and unders final last year. He himself was up against a defending champion in Will Jansen. He was 4-2 down in both sets and still came through in straights. Second successive week where Bonding has made it through to the final without dropping a set. Oh, that's unfortunate, the net cord. He did the work there, Bonding. His positioning was good. That ball just rolling off the tape. Already a mid battle to contend with, and that's where it can be a little bit troubling sometimes if you've come into the final without being tested, without having the experience of a battle. Sometimes it leaves you a little unprepared. But Bonding will take this point by point and think through it tactically, particularly probably looking to get that kick on the serve into the backhand of his opponent, the less confident wing of Luca Pau. And it will not see him through. Ollie Bonding hanging on to his serving advantage in these early stages of the boys' singles final. Isabel Lacey already having been crowned in the girls' competition. It's a roll of honour here, full of noteworthy names. Some past, some present in terms of active tennis players, but it's got to be encouraging for the current competitors to look at the list of former champions and see who has gone on to do what. And in fact, one of the former champions here is now tournament director of Wimbledon and will be on hand to present the trophies later. Jamie Baker was victorious in the 18 and unders in 2004, went on to have a successful pro career. More recent times, Alistair Gray, who made it through to the second round of the championships, faced Taylor Fritz last year. He won in 2016. Ryan Peniston, who is around today, I believe, and took out Casper Ruud, the world number 2, or the number 2 seed at the time at the Queen's Club Championships last year. He was triumphant just under 10 years ago, I should say. Well, if these opening 3 points of this game have shown anything, it's that it's a sport of fine margins. The wind is picking up again out there, and that's something the players have had to contend with, particularly this week when players been outdoors. It's been biting cold and swirling winds, plays with the ball. And with that considered, I think maybe today, as an onlooker, maybe cuts the players a little bit of slack on some occasions. So it's hard to appreciate how the wind can take that ball and change the trajectory, but they know that that is something they'll have to adjust to Promising early counter-punching signs from Pau with Bonding in the forecourt. He's really able to get some difficult dip on that ball. He's up against a tall opponent today. It's essential to keep those passes low. But speaking of counter-punching, how good is that from Bonding? He does have depth to his game. We saw that last week, the ability to just chip the ball, give a little bit of a different look, keep himself alive when he's not on the front foot, and that's exactly what he did there, just daring Powell to go for more with that forehand. Eventually it was too much. So first break point for the top seed. Oh, nicely seen, nicely struck. Now, the backhand slice is not a bad option for Bonding, but he wants to hit it with more depth of shot, not allow Powell to get over the top of it. Nothing wrong with the length on that return. Chance number 2 to get that early breakthrough. Oh, that's great placement. That was key, really, in his win over Phoenix Weir yesterday. In some tight moments, utilising that first ball behind the serve, generally on that forehand side. And that is some early survival for Luca Pell. Born in Solihull, but based in Loughborough at the National Academy. A lot of junior players these days setting up base there. Ollie Bonding, though, a local boy these days. And goes to school in King's College in Wimbledon. And by making this final, he guarantees that he will be playing there this season. Looked likely anyway. Oh, job well done. Bonding just stranded in no man's land there with Powell off the side of the court. hadn't managed to close that net down. That's a big time response. Look at the scoreboard there. 2-all, 30-all. Now, those are the big pressure points, and that is the big weapon of volley bonding. That huge first delivery. Gives him a bit of breathing room, and he's going to need it. Well survived by the player from Surrey, Oliver Bonding, hanging on to the serving advantage once more. And more importantly, getting over the disappointment of not breaking through really quickly up against a fighter like Luca Pau. It's so important to stay in the moment and attack each point with the same intensity. And that's what he's looking to do here. And he has a lot of match play behind him to help him feel comfortable. Has 5 junior ITF singles titles to his name and some good runs abroad only recently. He's been stepping up the tiers of junior competition in recent times. Has a J300 title and final to his name this season. Has only played 6 events, so pretty good rate of consistency. Luca Pau mentioned after his most recent match when he was feeling a little bit sore. He's been having some work done on his shoulder. So that's a nice combination for him in terms of the points he's putting together out here. Just wants a little less stress and wear and tear on his body. 3 matches played on the singles court this week. 3 won in 3 sets. So he's done it the hard way. Oh, it's a shame. It was a heck of a point. And some run as well from Powell to cover that lob down. With the wind at play as well. That could have got very tricky. Bonding waiting for the call, it didn't come, but he's got a great positive attitude, Bonding, and that was part of what made his match last week with Gusick 1 so competitive. The fact that both of them at such a young age had such good focus and their approach to the game was so positive. The hold goes to Luca Pau, but Bonding will just get on with business. You know, one of the cons of Bonding's game style is that his opponent will know what they're up against and be able to adjust accordingly. No secrets, but as a plus, if he executes with enough intensity and conviction, that ball is not going to be coming back. Comprehensive start to this game. Close to this game, I should say. So much tennis today, and a bit of stop and start as well, with the opening set and a half of the girls' final being played outdoors, the remainder of the match taken indoors. The weather has not been as kind this week as it was even during the 16s, where they did have a day indoors, but on the whole was much better. But that's all part of the tennis lifestyle and having to adapt to changes. Nothing is going to be 100% the way you want it ever, in terms of your body and your physicality, in terms of logistics and things outside of your control. These players learning early to be able to take that in stride. Oh, that's fluid work to turn that around. It's a bit deceptive because you don't expect the taller players to necessarily move the best. Bonding keeping his centre of gravity low and getting a good position around the ball throughout that rally. Very quickly seizing his opportunity to get up the court. And he'll do it again. Moving with the ball there. Bonding, taking it on the rise. His frustration at letting the first point get away was tangible, but he recommits and resets so quickly. Big moment for Pau just to be able to come out on the right end of that tussle. The longer the rallies extend, you feel the better Pau's chances are. Physically, he holds up well, but also Bonding does have options. There's more time for him to get it wrong as those baseline exchanges lengthen. And that is plumb on the paint from the racket of Pau. Nailed it. Tennis of the highest order from Ollie Bonding. It's the middle portions of those kind of rallies that really tell the story, even if they don't bring the climatic finish. And for Pau, when he'd done some hard work, there was just some length missing off the forehand. Allowed Bonding to keep his balance as he was pushed back in the court. And that is something else. Full body weight on the move, flung into that for a big breakpoint opportunity. Oh, that's a sensational effort. Bonding could not have done much more in that point. Even in moments where he looked off balance, he was able to control the ball. Shape, diffuse. And Pau just kept coming back. Well handled, some tricky shorter balls in the forecourt there. It's his tenacity that's one of his biggest weapons, as much as anything physical. Only just a little too little time on that occasion with the depth into the forehand side. Was rocked back And Power's back level. Edging into the business end of the set now. Showing his usual stickability. Can that shift the bonding serve at all? And the answer so far is no. And that is the sign of a world-class player. Ollie Bonding at the age of 15, able to survive, coming out on the wrong end of a bit of a wrestling match in the previous game, and then sail through his hold of serve at a critical point of the set. It's a massive effort from the top seed. He is one game away from taking the opener. So the spotlight firmly on Luca Powell after this sit down. Don't know that they'll want to stay sat down too long, and definitely getting cold out there. A lot of coats at the sidelines. A lot of people sticking around to watch as well. A very well attended girls' final. As they moved indoors, the balcony was full of players, spectators. The LTA had a coaching day going on today as well. 25 coaches from Surrey attending as part of their coaching development. So big questions being asked of Luca Powell now, serving to stay in the opening set. Oh, how flat did that backhand travel in comparison to the spinny lefty forehand? Gets a lot of whip on that shot, but it's those low traveling balls when Bonding's on top of the court that are going to be effective. And that forehand is going to help him in the forecourt. We saw Bonding a little bit earlier in this match. Was up near the service line and had a backhand. That's generally the flatter side naturally. Couldn't get the lift and the dip on it that he needed. Good duck. But first and foremost, a good move from Bonding. And as you're watching him here in his court craft, you can see his tactical awareness. His move up behind the drop shot was as fluid as the shot itself. Robbed Powell of time, completely rushed him. But it's that combination that was such a friend to him yesterday. Big serve getting a shorter return, and the forehand will clean up in that situation. Vemos indeed. Another mighty fight from Pau. You don't want to call it too soon, but this has tiebreak written all over it. It's continuous, the pressure that Bonding is applying with his sheer positioning. Pau on that occasion leaning out of the forehand, almost as if reacting to Bonding closing him down. We've mentioned his height, can be an imposing presence. But he can also take the pace right out of that ball just by cradling it the way he did there, stripping the pace, stripping the length as well. And in doing so, taking all the rhythm away from Pau. He's got nothing to hit off. And as you can see there, he does like something to hit off, and he doesn't mind a target either, Pau. It's his nature as a player. Favourite surface is a clay court for Pau. I'm not sure if he's changed his mind since he won Nationals last year and got to compete in the men's qualifying at Wimbledon. But clay is the slowest of the surfaces, more demanding of endurance, definitely requires you to have options and be able to think your way through things in long baseline exchanges. And the Bonding first serve is going to look to avoid those lengthy baseline rallies. Up on top of the ball, swung through that one. Another impressive battle of wills on display in this final Junior Nationals final at the National Tennis Centre. We had the singles and doubles events culminating this time and last week in the 16 and unders. Doubles champions of this week crowned yesterday, and this the second of the singles finals to take place. Other age categories, 12s and 14s, to take place later this year. And this is where the biggest prizes are in terms of Wimbledon opportunities. Every player in the 18s finals has guaranteed themselves a spot in the junior Wimbledon events, at least in singles, by making the finals. Only the winners today automatically gain a wild card into men's and women's qualifying. Big opportunity. And really, it's impressive how these two have handled themselves so far with so much on the line. For the second time, Luca Pao serving to stay in the set. Wouldn't be the first time that Luca Pao has come out on top at the Junior National Championships. He is, of course, defending champion of the 18 singles event. Silky change-up. But he also won the singles event in the 14 and unders competition in 2019. That one was staged at Nottingham Tennis Centre. Threads it. And it's time for that tiebreak that we predicted a while ago. No give from either player. In terms of tiebreaks, Bonding 1-1, lost one in the final last week. First time that he's been taken to one this week. Cumulatively, he had dropped just 15 games across 3 matches coming in here, Bonding. He hadn't lost more than 3 games in a set. Is this where the fact that Pao has been tested more comes into play? Exchange of mini breaks to open. Four points, 4 mini breaks. Once again, Pao curling the forehand, dipping it down towards Bonding's shoes. He's shown his ability to switch it up with the hand skills from the back of the court. You'd think at this point he'd be just anticipating that from Pao a little more. But that's giveaway of the pressure that he's facing from Pal. The sustained level, just asking for more on that second serve. It's the first mini hold, and it takes them into the change of ends. That's quite a key moment for it to happen. And this is where momentum can stall, so in this first to 7 points tiebreak, it's big for Pal to have that deficit on the board, even if it's a small one. Just allows a little bit more room to play with. So little between these two. That's good intent. And good sustained intensity in the forecourt as the ball came back. That sent a very clear message. He's opened up this lead quickly. And the thing is, that lead looks so much bigger than it is to Ollie Bonding, because he's at the other end of it. And because the scoring format is so tight here, he knows that even though it's just the one mini break, he's on the brink of going down a set. Now it's 2 mini breaks and 4 set points to Luca Pal. Oh, well, that is just magnificent.
6-3, Pal.
Staying alive by the skin of his teeth and the magic of his racket. It's on Luca Pal's racket now, though. 3 more set points. And the defending champion is 1 set away from defending his title. Well, Luca Pal has battled his way to the final, but he's looking to get it done in more comprehensive fashion this time around. He was playing catch-up throughout the set. Twice he served to stay in it, and the tiebreak goes his way. 7-3, he takes it. Well, you did get the feeling that that was going to be a little bit of a tougher obstacle for Bonding, not because of any less talent on his side of the net. In fact, in terms of depth of options and range of game, he is right up there, as his top seeding suggests, but Luca Pal sure as heck knows how to fight. And the serve and the forehand were there when they absolutely needed to be. Just seemed to have that marginally greater security. "16-year-old Isabella Lacey, already a champion today. She was seeded number 4 in the girls' draw, took out the top seed in the semi-finals, and got the better of 16 and unders champion Hannah Klugman today. And the grass court season, the opportunity to put their prizes into action will be here in no time. And Luca Powell with that good experience to draw on from last season. Not just in qualifying, but has competed in the junior event at Wimbledon previously. Appeared in both singles and doubles last year. Doubles alongside Henry Searle, with whom he won the 16 and unders title in the doubles last year. And they did win a round in the doubles, made it through to round 2. Molly Bonding back on court, looking forward to making a debut appearance at the championships themselves. He did feature in qualifying for the boys competition last year, but that's staged here at Roehampton. It's not actually staged on site at the All England Club, so prestigious opportunity to look forward to over the coming months. He doesn't want to look too far forward though. This match is still very much on, and he was very much in that opening set, so has to keep the energy and intensity up now.
No. 15 love. Fault.
He's the local player here, Bonding. He's definitely got support, and he definitely won't give up on himself. Confidence to take that ball on instead of waiting to see where it would land. Yes, Coach Miles McLagan made the comment that he's really professional and he rarely needs pushing or motivating. And those are serious qualities to have at a young age. It's half the battle. And speaking of battle, that Luca Powell forehand has been a serious asset in this one. The way the topspin just draws it into the court as it's reaching the baseline. Very difficult to deal with that kick and spin, or to judge it. Starts as he means to continue, does the 18-year-old. Following in the footsteps of Will Jansen in making the 18s final in back-to-back years. And the last player to win this event 2 years in a row was Dan Cox, who's currently back on the ITF and ATP Challenger circuits, enjoying the second leg of his career. Cox, a winner in 2007 and in 2008. Several times a player at the Wimbledon Championships as well, a couple of times in the main draw.
Hey. 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 No. 15-all. LTA 15. Hey! Hey! Hey!
Yeah, every time he's dragged Bonding low, he's been able to capitalise Powell most regularly with that forehand up the line. With the whip he's able to generate up the back of that ball. He's not scared of the higher part of the net. Knows he can create the necessary arc and knows that he's got Bonding in a spot of bother already here at 30 all, down on the scoreboard. Just adds to a bit of a feeling of suffocation. That's well done with the second serve. Nice and deep, good kick on it. Measured and controlled with the backhand behind. Didn't overplay that at all. It was all about the direction of shot. Quite literally wrong-footing Luca Powell there. How good are the reflexes from Oliver Bonding. And good to hear that energised reaction as well. He's here for the fight. The sky's still great, but the weather holding for the time being.
15 love. Love.
And more of the same from Powell, followed by something a little bit different. Service winners have been harder to come by, not as easy as from the bonding racket, but he fires one down for good measure. We'll appreciate a breezier service game as the breeze picks up in gusts here at the National Tennis Centre. Training base for many of the UK's biggest stars, but some absentees this weekend are those members of the Billie Jean King Cup team. Harriet Dart, Katie Bolter, Heather Watson, Alicia Barnett and Olivia Nichols over in Coventry, looking to get the win over the French team. All of those players with previous experience at the Junior National Championships. Harriet Dart and Heather Watson, former champions in singles here. And this is where you see the beginnings of some serious tennis careers. And the opportunities have only increased with the passing of the years. The Wimbledon prizes, a new addition since COVID. And Bonding still on serve here in the second set. There it is again.
15 all.
It's deja vu. Bonding likes that off forehand, but a little bit surprised to see him still approaching to the forehand of Powell with some of the passes that he's been able to pull off out here. On that occasion, he just wasn't quite steady in the forecourt bonding, but there probably was that element of doubt as well. You could see him this time looking to approach the other way, but maybe paying too much attention to Powell, giving him too much credit and overthinking. The focus wasn't quite as channeled, and it's been a match of slim margins. It could make a big difference. Not this time. Again, it's the narrowest of marks. But Bonding knows he's got to be utterly consistent with his approach to this match. Commit. And it's good to see that. Persisting in moving up the court. It would be very easy with the options that he has as well to sit back a little bit, not take things on as much, but full commitment on display here from the top seed. not letting the previous passing winners get in his head.
Love 15. Out! 15 all. Come on.
You can sense that's quite a big miss, Bonding. Throughout this match, he's been pretty good with his momentum rocking into that forehand up the line. But Bonding, sorry, I should say Powell, was on the stretch to cover that shot.
Let's see 15.
Slam dunk on the line is the forehand from Powell, and not for the first time today.
Game foul. Come on.
Come on, indeed.
Foul leads 3 games to 2.
Four points in a row from Love 15. And for Powell, it's not just been junior competition. He's looking to transition a little to the ITF Pro circuit as well. Did contest an event in Loughborough at 25k level earlier this year. That's the second step up on the ITF Pro circuit. As he comes to the end of his junior career, his final season this season, that is going to start happening with more regularity. He's going to get a lot of insight on the job in terms of strategic play. What is required to play that intensity of a tournament week in, week out.
Ah, 15 love. Hold. Hey. Hey. Dino. Come on. Go. Come on. 15-30.
Just a little guilty of a lack of length on his shots there, Bonding. The first volley sat in the middle of the court. allowed Pau to lock into it. And he's getting more vocal with his reactions in terms of the regularity of those reactions.
Hey! 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 Hey!
You know, Bonding will respond with one of his own. That's one of the highest quality points he's pulled out of the bag today, right down to the finish. That's what's required out here.
Oh! Oh! 30, 40.
It's been so closely contested. Up to this point, still no breaks of serve. The tie-break had to decide the opener. Is this where it begins to take its toll? Bonding serving at 30-40.
Oh!
And those high kicking forehands came back relentlessly. Luca Pau does have the first breakthrough. What is being checked here is the lines. It must be starting to drizzle. I'm looking out myself now. It's got to be fine rain, if it is. But even a little bit, if it's enough to get the court really wet, they've got to think about safety.
Yeah. If it was raining, I'd say otherwise.
I'm going to pause play by the looks of things. Not what Luca Pau wants right now, having just broken. I'm going to continue. It's not quite coming down. The opportunity for Pau to back up this break of serve and take a big step towards getting this done in straight sets.
Left. Out. Third seal on.
And this is a big effort from Pau with the disruption after the previous game as well, the little halt in momentum, to be able to keep things at such a high gear, such a high level. But Bonding will keep fighting.
40-50.
It's a question of consistency now, and whether Pau is going to give him that kind of opening often enough. Needs a big first serve here. Well, that's devastating placement from Bonding. Doing something a little different, taking the length off, using the acute angle to get Pau as stretched out as possible. And this is the moment to rifle through his options, to think what can he do that he hasn't already done, and to give his opponent a different look at things. Well, the reactions speak volumes. I asked earlier in the match why Bonding was approaching to the Pau forehand so much. The thing is, the backhand travels so much flatter, and if he can find the middle of his racket, Pau, that is not flying over the net in an ideal place for Bonding when it comes to tackling it with the volley. It's keeping so close to the tape. And it's making it a tough day at the office for Ollie Bonding. Great fight from the top seed. But it seems very much in Luca Pau's grasp right now. He's got to come up with something in this service game that can turn things around. And in order to do that, he has to take it moment by moment, shot by shot, starting with that big first serve that can be such a weapon, and was in the early stages of this match before losing that tie break, put him on the back foot. So Oliver Bonding serving to stay in the final. Full marks for effort from both sides of the court. And he just wants to slow Pau down here and maybe slow his own mind down. Bonding. It is just the one break of serve. The opportunities have been so few and far between in this match that it must feel like more, the same way those mini breaks in the tie break felt like more. That's too good. drifting that particular forehand up the line. 2 points away from the title. Massive stuff from Bonding on the brink of defeat, firing it up behind the forehand. He's done his bit. He has asked Luca Pau to do this the hard way. The 18-year-old to serve for a second straight victory at the 18 and unders Junior Nationals. And that's a good start. That first point right now is so key as a settler. And a second for good measure. Oh, he's got a feeling of deja vu here, Ollie Bonding, because he didn't agree on the call that sets up championship point for Ben Gusick 1 last week either. He knows he has to let it go. Double match point for Luca Pau. It's the dream defense for Luca Pau. For the second straight year, he is the champion at the 18 and unders Junior National Tennis Championships, which means for the second straight year, he will receive entry into the men's qualifying event at Wimbledon. Saved his best for last this week. His first straight sets win comes in the final over last week's runner-up and the top seed, Oliver Bonding, who has put in a major shift to make the final round in both weeks. Credit to him. Much more to come for him. But as far as the big prizes go this week, they are Oliver Bonding's sorry, lost you for a moment there. Luca Pau into the qualifying of the men's singles at Wimbledon. and onto the honour roll for a second straight year, the first to do so since Dan Cox in the mid-2000s. So it's been almost 20 years since someone accomplished this feat. Major effort from him, and Bonding's reward for his efforts over the last couple of weeks guaranteed a spot at Wimbledon as far as the junior event goes, and he's doing so well on the junior circuit at the moment that that would probably happen for him anyway at a career high world number 40. And people just taking their place on court for the trophy presentation. To be involved in that, Jamie Baker, tournament director of Wimbledon and a former champion at this event himself. And Richard Joyner is going to take us through this.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for both of our boys singles finalists, Oliver Bonding and Luca Powell. And returning to court for our presentation, please welcome Jamie Baker, Tournament Director of the Wimbledon Championships, and Jill Milne, our Tournament Referee. I'll try and be brief because we might need the umbrellas in a minute. So there are just a few thank yous though. This is the culmination of 2 weeks of us being here at the National Tennis Centre. As a start-up, I would particularly like to thank the operations team here. Lee Myers is at the top of it. It's been fantastic throughout. Our planning started pretty much after we finished last year's event, Lee, so thank you very much to you and all of the team. Once again, I would like to thank our ball crew from the championships. It's fantastic with our link with Wimbledon, with the wildcards that we have on offer here. It's fantastic that the team come down. Great job as always. Thank you very much to the team and the team coordinators. Thank you. And once again, our on-court officials done a fantastic job over the 2 weeks for us. We've had some windy weather, we've had some wet weather, we've had some sunny weather, we've had just about everything. Thank you very much to all of our team. And in the tournament team, in no particular order,
I'd like to thank all of our tournament team, Jill Milne, our tournament referee. I'd like to thank Nigel Smethurst, our physio. I'd like to thank Peter Grimsdale, who's on control desk. Despite the jokes that he gives throughout the fortnight, he is quite entertaining at the end of the day and he's good fun to be with. Nigel Smethurst, our physio. Kate Smith, who's done our photography today. Abigail Johnson, who's done our the commentary and did our social media yesterday. Thank you to all of those people. Thank you.
The microphone's just given out for a moment there.
Really quickly, as we thank the tournament team, we obviously have our fantastic tournament director in Richard Joyner. So huge round of applause.
Okay, we're going to get the mic back now. Just finishing off the thank you set.
thank you. I think we're back on track with the mic again. I think I'm definitely jinxed, but anyway, we'll keep going. So our runner-up for 2023, Oliver Bonding.
Here he is, finalist 2 weeks running, Oliver Bonding, and still just 15 years old, so he's got a couple more years to still compete at the Junior Nationals. More opportunity to come.
And winning back-to-back titles is our champion here in 2022, champion once again in 2023, Luca Powell.
It takes some doing to win this event 2 years in a row, particularly with the prizes now on the line, the best junior players in the country competing, but 2 years running, it is Luca Powell with the crown. And they've beaten the rain today as well. It got a little bit iffy in that second set, and it's been an iffy week in terms of being inside, being outside, but Luca Powell handling everything thrown his way to come out on top at the end of the week and to bring a great fortnight of Junior National Championships action here at the LTA National Tennis Centre to a conclusion.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's one final thank you. Jamie Baker, who has taken the time to come here today, as well as being a former boys singles 18 and under champion, played professional tennis for a number of years, represented Great Britain in the Davis Cup. We really do appreciate the support that we have from the club and the way that that has raised the profile of the National Championships. So Jamie, on behalf of the tournament, thank you, and thank the All England Club. So ladies and gentlemen, for the boys singles final, we just about kept dry. Thank you very much, and maybe we could order some slightly dry, warmer weather for next year, that'd be great, but otherwise, thank you.
Couple of very important final thank yous, and there's one more from me. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for following along and watching as we crowned the winners. Last week at the 16 and unders, Ben Gusick won and Hannah Klugman coming out on top in the singles, and this week Isabel Lacey and Luca Pau coming on top of the under 18s. I've been Abigail Johnson taking you through the action. Thank you for joining me. The Junior National Championships will return with the younger age categories later this year, but before that there's the small case of Wimbledon to look forward to, where these prizes will be put into action. We look forward to following the progress of the players, and we hope you do too. Have a great rest of your weekend, and thank you for joining us.
I would make sure you check it out first, all of a sudden you don't go over there and you're actually you're shocked, because there are a number of people out there. These two.